everyone! So today's video is this month's book club video, and the theme for this month was paranormal. So I read Dead Witch Walking by Kim Harrison. So Dead Witch Walking is about a woman named Rachel who lives in a world where all sorts of supernatural creatures exist, and she is a witch. And she was working for a kind of like a police force that polices supernatural creatures. She decides she wants to quit it and start her own business. But the police force doesn't take very kindly to that, and they put a bounty on her head. To be honest, I did not like this book that much at first. I think I had really high expectations for it because I had heard of this author before and I'd heard that she was a popular author. And so once I started it, it was nothing like what I was expecting. I just had a really hard time getting into it. It was kind of a mix between romantic horror and urban fantasy. But one of my biggest problems with this book was that it didn't have enough action in it to be a really action-packed urban fantasy type book, but it wasn't really romantic enough to be a normal romantic horror paranormal romance book. The story of the characters were also wrote like it should have been funny, or like the characters were supposed to be quirky and unusual and stuff, but I just didn't find it all that humorous. I guess it kind of, for me at least, it missed the mark on that. I also didn't think that it had enough diversity of characters. For literally the first 150 pages, you only have basically 3 main characters and then a couple side characters. And I just didn't think it was a large enough cast. The story was also a bit weird, especially in the beginning. I didn't understand really why Rachel quit her job just because she'd had a couple bad runs and her boss was a jerk. Like, to me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I just thought it was a bit weak on that. And also, and this might just have been me, sometimes I would be reading the book and I'd get down a couple paragraphs and I realized I really had no idea what had just happened, and that usually doesn't happen to me, but I just could have been having an off day. I also didn't understand why, even though Rachel was warned repeatedly that if she quit, she was going to have bounties put on her head, she refused to believe it, even though there had been evidence of this happening to other people before her. I think it took me about 150 pages to actually, and that was halfway through the book, before I was really like, oh okay, it's starting to get more interesting. One of the other things that kind of bothered me was that whenever you start a new romantic horror book and there's like vampires, werewolves, fairies, and stuff in it, that everything works under slightly different systems in each book. Like, no 2 books are exactly the same. And I wish that the author would have explained more what the differences between these creatures in this book and in other books were. I just didn't think it was explained all that well. Despite me complaining about it, I did start to enjoy the second half. Once Rachel was turned into a mink and was captured, I actually started to really get into the series, and it got better after that. I really liked the whole underground rat fights bit, so I did think that was cool. But I do think the series has the potential to be really good, and I definitely will get the next book and read it. Like I said, I think my expectations were just a little bit too high when I started this book, because I do think this was this author's first novel, and sometimes the later books in the series do get better, so I will give it another try. So next month's theme is going to be historical fiction, and I already have what I'm going to read planned, and I'm really excited about that one. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, comment about what you read this month, and subscribe if you want to see more. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I'll put the link down below. Bye!